So something very strange is happening, guys, and this video, if you haven't been paying attention to what's going on online at the moment, might honestly seem like clickbait. I would completely understand if you think I'm just clickbaiting, but I'm actually not. Battlefront 2 has made an insane comeback to the point where it's actually nearly breaking its own records for the most concurrent players it's had since the game was cancelled back in 2020. And this has all seemingly come out of absolutely nowhere. There wasn't a specific thing that happened that caused this, but I also don't think this is complete coincidence either. And today I'm going to kind of run you guys through what's actually happening, all the numbers sort of supporting how this has made a comeback and showing you guys just how popular it actually is at the moment. And I also want to talk about what this could potentially mean for a Battlefront 3 in the future. So without wasting any time, let's get stuck right into it. Now you might be wondering where I'm getting any of this from. How could I possibly know that the game is back? But if you haven't been on Twitter or even on places like Reddit, for example, I can understand why you wouldn't know that. All over the internet at the moment, Battlefront 3 has actually been trending for realistically the last 2 to 3 days is when it's like massively been trending, but as far as about a week ago, that is when it all started to pick up, and it may even go a little bit before that as well. Now, I'm going to get into a few tweets that support the numbers, like I said, but I think some of the reasons why this might have happened in the first place, because like I said, there wasn't any big thing that happened. It wasn't like they released a new trailer for the game or it went on sale. Now, it did go on sale on May the 4th, but every Star Wars game does every single May the 4th. So I don't think that's a special thing that caused this, because this does happen every year, every single year on May the 4th. There's always a spike in Star Wars games because they go on sale. This one is a little bit different than all of the previous years. I think it definitely kickstarted on May the 4th with some of those sales, but I also think that a big part of this is actually the Fortnite season that has been happening over the last few weeks now, because at least I know for myself, when I jumped on and played my first game of the new Fortnite season, if you guys didn't know, they've replaced every weapon in that game with Star Wars weapons. And I remember firing like an E11 and went, damn, this actually just feels like I'm playing Battlefront again. That's how long it's kind of been since we've had a proper Star Wars multiplayer game. And I think the Fortnite season is actually part of that, that even though ironically its own numbers are down compared to what Fortnite has been, I think it's actually almost reminding people of Battlefront again, because people are running around playing with Star Wars blasters and stuff and thinking, damn, this reminds me of Battlefront, let me jump back on and start playing. A big part of this has also been down to creators. My good friend Andrew, who you guys will know as Bombastic, he's been making a lot of videos on the game lately, and a channel of his size, obviously he has, I don't know, probably over 600,000 subs, at least that I know of anyway, and he's been getting a lot of viewership on all of his Battlefront content, which has definitely had eyes back on the game. I've seen Elliot from Battlefront Updates making content as well, and I've even seen content creators who are not from the Battlefront community, who are just regular like gaming content creators. They've even been covering the game as well, to the point where the more people that are covering the game, the more eyes are on it, the more people that are going, damn, that looks fun, I'm going to jump on and play. And it's all just generated this crazy hype for the game where for some strange reason it is borderline breaking its own records for, like I said, no apparent reason. There hasn't been some big new event going on or anything like that. There wasn't a new trailer. There hasn't been any specific thing that has caused this. It just kind of feels like the community is voicing what they want and saying, give us a Battlefront 3. Like, I want to play this game. It hasn't been supported for 5 years and it's still nearly breaking records. It feels like people are speaking through playing the game, if that makes sense, and it is just insane to see. I honestly have been spending all week just scrolling Twitter, seeing a bunch of stuff about this, and it honestly makes me so happy. You guys know how much Battlefront means to me, and seeing all this stuff and seeing the Battlefront community come back is just awesome to see. Now, I wanted to run you guys through some of the stuff that is happening on Twitter. The hashtag #MakeBattlefront3 is essentially trending at this point, and that's something that it all sort of started with, just like, oh damn, Battlefront's back, let's go and play, and it was just a bit of fun. Now every single tweet I see talking about it has hashtag #MakeBattlefront3 on it. It feels like the community is actually kind of gaining some traction, and we've all banded together to just essentially spam EA with this sort of stuff, which I will get to in a second. I think that there is some merit to this, so I'll touch on that in a little bit, but I wanted to run you guys through some of the numbers. And a lot of these tweets you're going to see, these are from people, I don't know who this dude is, a lot of these people I'm not following, so this isn't like it's my own, you know, the people I'm following on Twitter that are talking about it. This has just gone like borderline viral at this point. Now, as a true who I actually got to meet last month, ironically, he tweeted just 10 hours ago as I'm recording this anyway, saying a trusted source has told me Star Wars Battlefront 2 reached 164k concurrent players yesterday. That is the highest peak since December 2020, which is absolutely insane. Here's one from Battlefront Updates, who's been a bit of a pioneer with this stuff too. He's constantly talking about it on Twitter. He says the official Firefox account commenting about Battlefront 3 on the official Star Wars account. It has 14,000 likes. I don't know. I assume this might be Instagram. I'm not 100% sure. But it says, we think the people want Battlefront 3, and it has 14,000 upvotes or likes, which is crazy. Like Firefox, that is a browser. That's like Google Chrome just tweeting, we think people want Battlefront 3. Like, it's just crazy that sort of everyone's getting involved in this. My good friend Sage, who I also got to meet last month, we've been doing a podcast together for 4 years, focused on like first-person shooters and stuff. He tweeted, and it's actually got over 1,000 likes now. He said, if you were 10 when Battlefront 2015 came out, you're now 20. Anyway, hashtag make Battlefront 3. So as you can see, even just like regular tweets, this isn't some crazy tweet. This is just a cool little fact. These are getting thousands of likes because everyone is kind of jumping on this stuff, and it's like we're all getting behind each other, which is cool to see. Now, Elliot also tweeted this 13 hours ago. Battlefront 2 is currently trending in the PlayStation Store. So again, this has gone beyond just Twitter and like social media. On the actual PlayStation Store, the game is trending. It hasn't had an update in 5 years, guys. This is absolutely mental. It is, as you can see on this list, above Fortnite, which we all know how big Fortnite is, and it's got a Star Wars season at the moment. And it is in the mix here with GTA 6, which is literally going to be the biggest media launch ever. GTA 5, which essentially was at the time of its launch, and we all know how big Call of Duty is. So the fact that Battlefront, an 8-year-old game with 0 updates in 5 years, is in this list it's crazy. I genuinely do not understand it. There is a tweet here from Kyber. I'm sure you guys have heard of Kyber. If you haven't, it is essentially like a mod support platform, I guess you would say, and like a server platform that is trying their best to keep Battlefront alive. And they have a really good point here. We have their attention, now make it count. Hashtag make Battlefront 3. And that is a good point, and that is actually why I'm jumping on this trend as well. I've been flat out lately. I wasn't really planning on making a video on this, but the traction has just grown and grown, and I almost feel I have a part to play in this too. I'm a Battlefront creator from back in the day. I want to jump on and draw attention to this game as well. Even if one extra person plays the game, that's a win for the community. So I do agree with this as well. We've got to make this count. I will get to that in a second once we get through these tweets, but I do have a bit of a plan that we can all do that, you know, if we ever get Battlefront 3, it could help us get there in the end. Now, Kyber also tweeted just 3 hours ago, Star Wars Battlefront 2 has nearly reached the all-time concurrent play count on Steam. And I've just pulled up Bombastic, who is a good friend of mine. I was actually just in Japan with him last month, having a bit of fun at Star Wars Celebration, and he just tweeted this 1 hour ago as I'm recording. As you can see here, if I click on this, this is the graph that everyone keeps kind of showing, and every day I see this go up and up and up. As you can see, it has reached a new peak here. The all-time peak ever, the all-time peak for this game is 10,000. Now that is a pretty low number. The thing to keep in mind is that the game didn't launch on Steam, because this is obviously only Steam numbers here. The game didn't launch on Steam until after the live service was done. So 10,000 is actually a very small number for a game this big, and it seems very underwhelming. But you've got to understand that I would say at least 90+% of the play base was on consoles, or even the PC play base. Back then you had to play it on Origin, or now EA Play. And so even the PC play base, I would guess 80% of PC players do not play it on Steam. For example, myself, I've got it on PC, I don't own it on Steam. So even when I'm playing, I'm not counted in this list, if that makes sense. And so yes, that number is actually very small at the end of the day, but it's still pretty high when you put all of that context in there. And like I said, as you can see, it is nearly breaking that all-time peak, and it will. I have no doubt this will break that. Potentially even by the time this video is live, that will be broken. So absolutely crazy numbers. You can just see the trend here from back. This is at the 24th of April, and it just slowly rises. Around May 4th is when, like I said, it sort of picked up a little bit, and then it has just been an upward trend since then. If you're wondering why it like goes up and down, I think that's just mostly due to like time zone stuff. So the little peaks here are usually when it's like the peak time in the US and in Europe sort of at the same time, and then obviously say the United States players go to bed, it drops down a little bit. That's why it looks a little bit weird. But if you kind of just draw a line straight through the middle of that, that's the general trend of it. So as you can see, this isn't all just made up. We're not all just jumping on, you know, us creators aren't going, oh, Battlefront's back so that people start watching our videos. The numbers are there. It is literally like borderline breaking its own records. Andrew also tweeted this just 3 hours ago. This is on the Fortnite trailer. This is nothing to do with Battlefront, even remotely. All of the comments just say Battlefront 3. No one cares about Fortnite. Everyone's talking about Battlefront, and it's crazy to see. I honestly am so happy to see this. It's insane how big this game is. You actually do forget, because the community did feel pretty tight knit, but this game's massive, man. It had like, I don't even know how many copies it sold. I know at least 35 million copies sold, which is just like insane numbers. And that was back when it was being supported. Who the hell knows what it is now? There's also this tweet from Andrew as well. This is on the freaking GTA 6 trailer. This is not even Star Wars. Like the Fortnite one, I can understand. Star Wars still, it's a trailer for the Mando skins and stuff like that. This is on the freaking GTA 6 trailer. Like, what the hell? Why is this happening? GTA has nothing to do with it whatsoever, and everyone's just saying, where's Battlefront? We want Battlefront 3. Like, crazy scenes what is happening right now, and that is why I wanted to jump on and make this video, because like I said, I think that we can honestly make a push as the community, and if there is ever a time we can make an impact and potentially get a Battlefront 3, it is going to be through this. It's not going to be just by random chance. We as the community almost need to like step up and say, all right, if they're not going to make it, we're going to like force them to make it, essentially. Now, the ways in which I think we can genuinely make an impact, because like I said, all of those numbers and everything, those are all over the internet right now. This isn't just like within the Battlefront communities, like little comment sections and stuff. That's where we're seeing this. This is spread everywhere. Even on the PlayStation Store, you could see that the game is trending. And eventually EA will notice this. I have no doubt they will have noticed this already, but they might just kind of see it and go, oh, that's cool. Like this old game that we made is doing really well. That's awesome. I genuinely think if we keep this up, they will, you know, in a few weeks from now, in a month from now, they're going to start having to have serious conversations and be like, hang on, like this game hasn't been supported for 5 years. And yeah, it was cool. It just blew up a little bit, but it's been a month now. What the hell's going on? Why are people still playing this game? And they are going to have serious conversations, even if it doesn't lead to them making another one. They might just come to the conclusion, yeah, look, this game's blowing up again, but we just can't make the third one, whatever. They might not make it, but in my opinion, this will force serious conversations between the higher ups at EA. They're going to see this, and they're also going to see the amount of people playing this game who cannot spend money on it, might I add. Obviously, completely new players, you can buy the game and play it, so they're technically making a bit of money there. But for me, I own the game on every platform, and I own every skin. I cannot spend 1 cent on this game. There is no possible way for me to spend any money on this game, because they've essentially removed the monetization when they ended support for it. And so I would imagine 90% of people are in the same boat, where everyone already kind of owns this game. We already all have every skin, so we can't spend money. And so there are hundreds of thousands of people playing this game right now, potentially millions per week, who they're not making any money off those players. And that is another thing that might push them to go, damn, like this is actually a pretty big loss for us, that we've got this game that is just generating hundreds of thousands of players and we can't make $1 off it. Well, why don't we make Battlefront 3 so that we can actually monetize this? So like I said, I do think this is the chance that we have to take if we ever want to see a Battlefront 3. I think now is the time for us to kind of just keep hassling them and almost just be annoying. Just honestly, I'm just going to keep tweeting every other day and just say, make Battlefront 3, and I'll just farm engagement on Twitter, because that's what happens. Every time you tweet Battlefront 3, you just get hundreds of likes. It's crazy. So we all need to do that. I've even had the idea that, like, even if you guys just don't want to play, just re-download the game, honestly, even if you never touch it again. That will still help with all the stats and stuff, because I've even seen some stuff on Twitter where it was like Battlefront is in the top 20 most downloaded games this month and stuff like that. So if that number rises, like imagine we get Battlefront in the top 3 most downloaded games for the month. Even if you're not playing it, it still counts that you've downloaded it, and all of that data will eventually make its way back to EA. And so even doing little stuff like that, like simply re-downloading the game and just never touching it, that actually still helps as much as you might think it doesn't. I've even had the idea, which I might start doing, that when I leave for work every day, I might just boot the game up and just leave it on while I'm at work, because that counts me as a concurrent player. And although I'm not actually playing, if we all did that, like if there, you know, there's hundreds of thousands of people downloading the game, if we all just turned it on and just go to work and live your life, that all adds up, and the numbers are just going to be inflated, and they're going to be like, what the hell, there's millions of people playing this game right now. So little things like that, literally just downloading the game, or just if you've got an hour to kill and you're just watching YouTube videos, just turn the game on for a bit and just inflate those numbers. And then obviously the smart answer to this is play it with your friends. If you guys used to play back in the day with a bunch of mates, go and tell them and say, hey boys, Battlefront's trending, the servers are populated again, let's jump on and play one last time, and like spread that out even further. Tell your friends about it and just keep the traction growing, because like I said, I do think that this is realistically our only chance to have any say in it. And if we keep pushing and pushing and just essentially spam the game, just spam the words Battlefront 3 over and over again, at some point they're gonna have to listen. Whether they decide to make it or not, it doesn't really matter. That's in their hands, that's out of our control. But we can definitely get them to the point where they are going to have the conversations about this. So everyone jump on, everyone, if you have Twitter and stuff, go and tweet and say make Battlefront 3, and just everyone do their part, because this is crazy to see. It makes me so happy seeing the community just loving it again. I jumped on this morning and played a game. I didn't even record it. I always record every game of everything that I ever play. And I jumped on this morning. I didn't record it. I just jumped on and played a game at co-op and had so much fun. And it's crazy that the servers are populated again and stuff. So I will be making a lot more Battlefront content just to kind of keep this up. And if you guys want to see more of that and you are new to the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button, because I think we should definitely keep this trend going and try our best to get EA to make Battlefront 3. But that is going to do it for this one, guys. Like I said, plenty of content on the way covering the game. I might even potentially do like a beginner's guide. Obviously there's pretty much every guide under the sun has been done on this channel, so there's only so much I can do, but I might potentially do a beginner's guide if you guys want to see that. And I'm probably just going to do a bunch of fun stuff, just some live commentaries, mucking around with the game. So keep your eyes peeled for all of that, and be sure to leave your comments down below as well, even if it is as simple as hashtag make it Battlefront 3. But that is going to do it for this one, guys. Thank you all very much for watching. You guys have a great day, and may the force be with you always.